Hey guys, welcome back to the Tea Party Podcast. It's the podcast where you find new friends and new music. This week I am joined by Binghamton, New York native who now splits his time between Nashville and Austin. Tom O'Connor, man, how are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself, man?
I am doing fantastic. Thanks for jumping on here. And before we get too far into it, let's just jump right into the Tom O'Connor story. Kind of give us the cliff notes of growing up in New York.
Grew up in upstate New York. Went to college at West Virginia University. I played hockey at West Virginia. I moved from West Virginia to the Washington, D.C. area for about 7 years. I worked as a lobbyist. And all in the meantime, kind of playing music, and music started taking off a little bit and got to the point where I was touring up and down the East Coast on weekends. And then finally made the decision to go full-time and do the songwriting thing and move to Nashville, and here we are today.
Nice. How long ago was it that you were at West Virginia?
How long ago was it?
Yeah.
I was there from 01 to 05.
Okay. Was it still an ACHA hockey program back then?
Yes, it was.
That's fantastic. Outside of this, I actually work with an ACHA program here, and then I've got a buddy that actually works up in Binghamton with an ACHA program there.
Really?
Yeah, so that's a small world, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. I try to explain it to people here, but they don't really understand the difference between the ACHA and the other stuff. So,
which I think is a good thing, right? I mean, it's kind of blurring that line a little bit more now.
Yeah, totally.
So what did mom and dad do up there in Binghamton when you were growing up?
My dad had his own business, did occupational safety consulting, and my mom's had a number of different admin jobs, and that's still kind of what she does.
Nice. So was it hockey that took you to West Virginia for college?
It was.
Nice.
I didn't start playing guitar until like right around 18, kind of freshman in college.
So what was it that kind of pushed you into music? I mean, obviously, being in West Virginia, I feel like there's a little more country music than there is in upstate New York, maybe?
Yeah, it's kind of a funny thing. Growing up, I had a bunch of friends that were way into like Dave Matthews, and I didn't get it, and I didn't understand it at all. And then right before I went to college that summer, they convinced me to go to a concert, and I was so blown away. I literally went out the next day and bought a guitar, and I was like, that's what I want to do the rest of my life. So it was like it was a live show. Watching the Dave Matthews Band was kind of what started this whole passion fire.
So it's a Dave Matthews thing, which, being from Washington State, I feel like I've heard that story a billion times. But what was it that pushed you from just playing guitar to wanting to play country music?
I think a lot of my influences kind of are what country music kind of has become now. So it just naturally, I didn't get really introduced to country music until I went to college again, with people from all over the place, and started hearing Kenny Chesney and Toby Keith, the early stuff. And then, started getting into it. I was a bunch of friends from Texas. So we started getting into like Cross Canadian Ragweed and Randy Rogers and that kind of stuff. And, prior to that, my influences were, Southern rock and classic rock and the 90s kind of grunge stuff. And, a lot of that 90s stuff kind of is what country was starting to sound like. So it just became natural. I don't know, it just happened naturally, I guess.
Well, and I think you're spot on. And I don't think that's a connection that a lot of people have made, that when you go back 20 years from now, back 20 years from now, that is kind of what country music has evolved into. And I think maybe it's just, the country music artists like yourself that are growing up now and coming
early
in.
John Mayer stuff. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you up. But even the early John Mayer stuff is, very similar to kind of stuff you're hearing now on the radio. So.
Oh, absolutely. And my favorite example to always use is Darius Rucker, because when you listen to early Hootie and the Blowfish stuff, it sounds exactly like what Darius is putting out right now on country radio.
Yeah,
just
a little
by
bit
himself.
Different lyrics, but yeah.
So you went from West Virginia, graduated college, and then moved up to D.C. What was that like, trying to play music in a scene like that? I feel like D.C. is not an entertainment-driven arena, if you will.
No, it was tough. There was a community of songwriters there that were kind of doing their own thing. It was very competitive, and it was hard to get people to kind of, I guess, see music as a necessity, you know, like doing when there were shows, it was hard to pull people out with. They're so busy and focused on their careers in DC. So getting people out to do different events was hard, and then you're competing with, you know, whether the Redskins are playing or whether, you know, the Capitals or whatever events were going on in the city, you know, like it was really competitive in terms of that. So.
Well, and when you're in a place like that, I mean, you've got DC, but you've also got several big cities right around there. Did you end up playing in places like that, like Baltimore or heading back down into Virginia?
Which made it really easy, to be honest with you. And in my music, I don't even know if at that time what was considered what would be country now. It's kind of more folky and songwritery based. What they call kind of like that Virginia rock sound, which is like Pat McGee Band and, you know, early OAR and stuff like that. But yeah, I would basically go from Boston down to Charlotte. It's basically the 95 corridor, and just like every couple hours there's a city, and you know that's what I would pretty much do. Like every weekend, I would go to play a couple shows, or I remember even times where I would call in sick from work and drive and do a show the next morning and come back, you know, or come to a half a day and different things like that.
So when was it that you decided that music was what you wanted to do for a living?
God. I mean, I guess I always kind of wanted to do it. I mean, it was just a matter of pulling the trigger and leaving the security of the regular paycheck and everything else, you know, because it's not consistent revenue. So you really got to hustle. And I guess, yeah, I always wanted to do it. I think, but there was a moment that I was approached by a management company, Fitzgerald Hartley, and they have a number of clients here in Nashville, and they have an office in LA. They work with a guy, I think, Will Hogue, or he used to. I'm not sure if he still is. And, you know, they wanted to help me get some stuff off the ground and go. And they're like, you know, we need you to be all in. You can't have a day job and do this. Like, if we're going to be all in, we need you to be all in. And I think that was when I was like, all right, I'm going to do this. We're going to go for it. And
well, I feel like it's easier to make that leap when you have somebody that's in the business saying, hey, we think you're ready to make this leap, but you've got to actually pull the trigger and do it.
Absolutely, yeah.
So when was that about the time that you moved to Nashville?
Yeah, or transitioned that way, yes. Probably took me another, I'd say within that year, yeah.
So then you move out to Nashville. Did you move out there as an artist or as a songwriter or a little bit of both, or you weren't really sure?
Initially, I came here and I thought it was just going to be the songwriting thing, because I thought there was more longevity in that, and I thought that was kind of the way that I would get my foot in the door and do different things. But you know, the climate changed. I mean, you know, Luke Combs coming out and being a big thing became kind of an open door for me to see, like, you know, you don't have to be, you know, the Abercrombie and Fitch model if you want to, you know, record deal, or if you want to play or do whatever, you know what I mean? It's like, it became less about the appearance and more about the music. And fortunate enough for me, I mean, I had a song with him right about the time that he was blowing up, and it really opened the door for me to really pursue the artist thing. But the first couple of years that I was in Nashville, I really focused on just, you know, becoming a better songwriter and co-writing and trying to pitch songs and get other people to record songs. And that was more the everyday life. But sort of shifted now again to kind of doing the whole artist thing.
So how did you end up with this little known artist by the name of Luke Combs?
As a matter of fact, I'm about to play it tonight again. There's a really good songwriters round or songwriter night every Tuesday here in Nashville at the Tin Roof. It's called The Revival. And Luke, when he first came into town, that's kind of the circle that he was running in, and we were writing songs and became friends and kind of, you know, met that way. And then, you know, we knew he was, you know, something special, but nobody knew he was going to kind of take off that fast and become what it is today. So it's just a pretty incredible thing.
Well, and I mean, I guess you saw that kind of from the inception. I mean, Luke Combs went from essentially a local Nashville artist to this national phenom overnight. Yeah. I mean, what was that like, kind of being, I'd say, phenom adjacent?
It was pretty amazing to watch. I mean, like I said, it just blows your mind. I mean, I think, you know, he had come out of college, and when he first moved here, I think he was doing well. They were playing a lot in Carolinas and the Southeast, and they were kind of getting this cult following. And, you know, when he came here, it's funny. In Nashville, you see all sorts of awesome talent and all sorts of awesome, artists and musicians and writers and stuff. And it's very rare that like people get a following in Nashville and they got buzz where everybody's like all excited about an artist and like he had it. You know what I mean? We see we see major artists every day, out and about, or if you go have a drink after you write or something like that, and nobody really bothers them. And for some reason, Luke was just so approachable and accessible. I mean, like, I don't know, people just went nuts for him. And that's like here in Nashville. So, it was just a matter of time before it was going to spread like crazy, and it has for sure.
Well, and that's one thing that I've noticed. Everybody that I've talked to about Luke Combs is that he's just a genuine guy, and then most of the people that he keeps around him are just genuinely good people.
Yeah.
So definitely. Here, I want to change the subject a little bit and talk a little bit more about your songwriting and your music. You were kind enough to share a couple of songs with us today. One of them comes out on March 6th that we'll talk about in a little bit. But I want to start with this one. It's your most recent single. It's called She's Hell. It came out in October. How did this song come about?
I wrote it with, probably shouldn't say this, but I wrote it with a buddy of mine who, about his crazy girlfriend. So
those are the best kind of songs.
We're still together, so I won't say anything more than that. But, it's just about a relationship where, it's just high highs and low lows. It's like, I can't even, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't want to get you in trouble, but I feel like we all have that friend that we know that girlfriend. She's not our girlfriend, but we definitely know who that girlfriend is. Well, here, let's let everybody take a listen to it. This one's called She's Hell by Tom O'Connor.
She's an angel dressed in black, grabs a hold of me like a heart attack. She's a keep me up all nighter. Never felt nothing like her fire. Ever since I've known her, there ain't no middle ground. It's like riding on a roller coaster, all the way up, all the way down. She gets me higher than I've ever been, and lower than I've ever felt. 'Cause sometimes she's heaven and sometimes she's hell. Sometimes she's heaven and sometimes she's hell. I know that I should know better. She's probably gonna kill me, still I'll let her. Whatever she's got, man, I need it. And I always take it 'cause I just can't leave it. Ever since I've known her, there ain't no middle ground. It's like riding on a roller coaster, all the way up, all the way down. She gets me higher than I've ever been, and lower than I've ever felt. 'Cause sometimes she's heaven and sometimes she's hell. Sometimes she's heaven and sometimes she's hell. When it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad. But I'll be damned, she's the best I ever had. Ever since I've known her, there ain't no middle ground. It's like riding on a roller coaster, all the way up, all the way down. She gets me higher than I've ever been, and lower than I've ever felt. 'Cause sometimes she's heaven and sometimes she's hell. Sometimes she's heaven and sometimes she's hell.
one was She's Hell by Tom O'Connor about a nameless friend's girlfriend. But I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about your songwriting process a little bit. First off, do you remember the first song that you ever wrote and then played for a crowd?
Oh, yeah, I do, yeah.
You have a story behind it?
I mean, I don't think it was crazy. I remember the song was called Become Memories. I mean, I was probably very green and didn't know what I was doing. But I remember that song lasted a long time. I mean, I played it for a number of years afterwards. It was on an album that's now defunct. We don't have it out anymore. I put out a couple of records, years back when I didn't really know how to write a song, or I thought I did, but really didn't. And we've kind of grown out of those. But yeah, I do remember it very clearly.
That's awesome. Those kind of things are really cool. Are you one of those guys that sits down and can write songs in a notebook for hours, or do you just have your iPhone, memos app up when a melody comes up? What does your process look like? There's a little bit of everything.
It's all the above. Yeah. I mean, me personally, I'm more of a words and lyrics guy. I can play. I think I'm decent with melodies, but I would say my strength is kind of having the song idea and the lyrics and stuff like that, at least in terms of the co-writing. But you're always looking for ideas, and I'm always jotting down notes in my iPhone, good title ideas or good phrases or different things like that. And, or if I have a melody pops in my head, or if I hear something, I'll sing it into the voice memos app. And, usually what we'll do is we'll get into a room and co-write a song with 2 or 3 other guys. And the first thing typically that I do is we'll sit down and we'll all kind of flip through our iPhone notes and our ideas until we land on something that we all really like. And then you pretty much spend the next 3 hours chasing it and trying to nail down a song. So.
Well, and I found that the songwriting, especially when you're co-writing with people in Nashville, that it's very similar in a lot of aspects, but everybody has their own kind of little things that they like to do. Is there...
Sure. If you're writing sometimes, with a track guy or somebody that, builds beats and stuff, and a lot of modern country music is becoming that too, and that's very different sometimes. They may just come up with, some musical parts, and then y'all start trying to come up with words or trying to match a vibe over that. And same thing with musicians. Some musicians sometimes, I would say it's probably less common, at least for me and my experiences. Sometimes somebody may have a riff or something on a guitar, or may have a chord, a number of chords put together that they really like, and we kind of run with something like that. But I would say typically, like I said, it's flipping through the iPhone ideas and some lyrics or phrases or whatever, and landing on something that you all like, and that's what you do.
So when you head into a co-write room, is it something where you head in there knowing, hey, today we're going to write for me, or do you just kind of write a song with everybody and then, whoever style it fits best, that's who takes it home, or does everybody take it home?
Yeah, sometimes. A lot more now that I've been doing the artist thing. That's more the purpose for the writing that I have, is to write for me or for whatever said artist that we're writing with. But prior to that, sometimes you just go in there and you just try to write the best possible song you can that day, whether it's, something that Darius Rucker would cut, or whether it's a pop song, or whether it's a bluegrass song, or whatever it is. We typically write just about every day. So, doing different stuff kind of helps mix it up and keep you from getting monotonous.
Well, and we've got another song of yours here. You were so nice to let us have it before it releases. This podcast will come out on March 3rd, so if you're listening to it, it comes out this Friday on March 6th. It's called Kill the Bottle. Give us the story behind this one, if you can. Don't get in trouble with this one
absolutely.
either.
Yeah, so I had this title for a long time, just kind of play on the words, with Kill the Bottle, and really sad, dark song, and we all really loved the song when we wrote it that day, but, didn't think anything would really happen with it, just 'cause it was such a dark song. And as I went through the process to do this record that we recorded that's coming out later this year, and it should come out in October, I believe, the guys that I work with down the production, they picked this song. I wasn't going to record it. And they're like, that's the best song you have. We have to record that. And I was like, really? You know, I mean, like, it's a very good song, I think, but, you know, like I said, it was just dark and sad, and, you know, but as we played it for a number of people and industry folks, and everybody's kind of gone nuts over it, and I'm really glad we did it. I really do love the song now. Not that I did before, but I'm just really glad we did it, and I'm really excited to put it out and see what it does.
Well, I've been listening to it for the last 2 days. I really dig this song. Let's give everybody else a chance to listen to it. This one's called Kill the Bottle. It comes out March 6th by Tom O'Connor.
Damn the pictures on the wall. Damn your memory walking up and down the hall. Damn these voices in my head. Damn the ghost of you still lying in my bed. Oh, I can kill the lights at night, but I can't get no sleep. Since you left me, I've tried killing time, but it keeps killing me. So I should take this drink and just pour it down the drain. 'Cause I can kill the bottle, but the bottle can't kill the pain. I can take a wrecking ball to this whole house, sell everything I own and leave this town. But you'd still haunt me, no matter what I do. 'Cause the only thing I can't forget is you. Oh, 'cause I can kill the lights at night, but I can't get no sleep. Since you left me, I've tried killing time, but it keeps killing me. So I should take this drink and just pour it down the drain. 'Cause I can kill the bottle, but the bottle can't kill the pain. I've never missed anyone like I miss you. And I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do. 'Cause I can kill the lights at night, but I can't get no sleep. Since you left me, I've tried killing time, but it keeps killing me. So I should take this drink and just pour it down the drain. 'Cause I can kill the bottle, but the bottle can't kill the pain.
There was brand new music by Tom O'Connor. It's called Kill the Bottle. Comes out March 6th. And, Tom, I assume everybody can get it. Apple, Spotify, iTunes, where else?
Yep, it'll
everywhere?
Everywhere, yep. It's available for pre-order on iTunes right now. We're going to set up a pre-save campaign this week for Spotify as well, too.
Well, there you go. So if you're listening to this podcast, head to the description. I'll make sure to put the pre-save link there as well. But if everybody wants to keep up with you, how can they do that? On social media, on your website? Give those out.
Yeah, at Tom O'Connor Music on Instagram. Same handle for Facebook, Twitter. Although I'm not as active on Twitter as I am on the others. Pretty much everything is Tom O'Connor Music. O'Connor's all O's, no E's.
There you go. Nice and simple. I like it. Well, Tom, thanks for jumping on the podcast with us. We end the podcast the same way every time. It's called The Final Four, and it's probably the 4 toughest questions that I'm going to ask you this whole time just because they really make you kind of think, okay?
All right.
Okay, here we go. First one. If you could go on tour with anybody, alive or dead, who would it be?
Ooh, wow.
Told you, they're not easy.
Right. I would say right now, probably Eric Church.
Oh, that's a good pick.
I would always do the Dave. I mean, like, I love Dave Matthews Band, and that would always be kind of a dream thing just to have that experience. But Eric Church is just so awesome at what he does. Just so much energy. I would probably kill to be out of the road with him.
That's a good pick. If I had to make a pick, Eric Church is my number one pick, hands down, every time. You're right. He puts on such a good show. Okay, how about this one? Where were you and who were you with the first time that you heard your song being played when you weren't playing it? You know, on the radio, at a club, in the car?
Huh. I was actually, this is back when I was in D.C., and the rock station used to play one of my songs. I was driving home from a men's league hockey game, and it came on the radio on the way home, and I was by myself. And I was like, damn, it's on the radio.
There you go. Okay, how about this? Who's your favorite artist that you've ever opened for?
Oh, wow. Somebody might be mad at me.
I know, put me on the spot today.
Man, there's a couple.
Hey, we can take more than one.
Of them. Yeah, Luke Combs is definitely one of them. Randy Rogers Band and William Clark Green are another. I mean, I really dig those guys. Those are Texas guys that are just badass. Yeah, I think off the top of my head. Although the most fun one and the crowd that enjoys me the most, and we've done it a number of times, I think we have another one coming up with him soon, is Aaron Lewis. Aaron Lewis is always the most fun show for me.
Yeah, I can imagine that. He puts on a good show, and he brings a very diverse crowd. I mean, you still have some people some rockers that are there to watch him, but then some real true red dirt country folks that are there. It's an odd mix.
Yeah, it's a rowdy drinking crowd too, so it's fun.
That is very true. Okay, here we go. Last one. What is your favorite onstage memory?
Man, there's probably a couple of those too, but I think my favorite one is the first time I got to play John T. Floors in Hulot, Texas, which is a famous honky tonk. It's where Willie Nelson had a standing gig for many years, and I was opening for the band Flatland Cavalry, and the place was sold out, and it was just awesome. It was just so much history in the room, and I just remember the place being at capacity. As soon as we went on, it was just awesome.
See, those I feel like are some of the cooler places to play. The places where stepping out on that stage that there's a ton of history that just happened right there where you're at.
Yeah. A couple of those Luke shows early on were like that too, and it's like, man, I can't believe how many people are here. Lined around the building at 4 p.m. and the show's at 9.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, thank you so much, man. What do you have coming up in 2020? You mentioned an album coming out hopefully towards the end of the year?
Yeah, so we recorded a record last spring, or I don't know, maybe 6-8 months ago, and we are going to start putting songs out. She's Hell came out in October, and basically every month leading up to October, we're going to put out singles, and then the full record will come out. I want to say mid to late October, but 15 songs. Really excited about it. Playing a bunch of shows. Hopefully, got a couple shows here in Nashville in the next couple of weeks. Coordinated with the release of Kill the Bottle. I think we're back in Texas in April. But off the top of my head, I think that's what it is. Hopefully, we'll be real busy on the road, and we'll get to a lot of different places and get to see a lot of different new people.
Hey, I like it. Well, Tom, thank you, man, so much for jumping on here. I really appreciate it. And everybody go out there and follow him.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. And that was another episode of the Tea Party Podcast, the country music podcast where you find new friends and new music like Tom O'Connor and his new song, Kill the Bottle.